I'm so frustrated, Eddie Hearn. The baptism is near. Deontay Wilder gets at Dillian Whyte, and you won't believe what he has to say. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Shout out to WBN, link in the description. They have an exclusive with Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. It says exclusive. Deontay Wilder fires KO warning to obsess Dillian Whyte. So he says he's obsessed, right? And click on the article. In the final installment of an unprecedented 10-part series with WBN, Deontay Wilder concludes with a warning to UK heavyweight Dillian Whyte. The WBC champion has clearly had enough of misrepresentation on the subject of facing the mandatory challenger. Whyte and promoter Eddie Hearn have lobbied for a title shot of late, claiming it's been 600 days plus since Whyte became the contender, yada, yada, yada. This may be true, but the Bronze Bomber previously stated to WBN that Whyte has spurned for opportunities, which I made a video about, and it's actually true, and he actually missed some. There's more than 4 times where he could have gotten a title shot to earn his chance with the WBC alone. Add to the fact Kubrat Pulev was also rejected in the IBF Eliminator, which they probably got, whoever wrote this probably got this from my video, because that's one of the things I said. And Wilder believes fans should seek the truth before judgment. Quote, the facts are the facts. I don't want people to fall and feel sorry for Dillian Whyte. He done this to himself because he could have had all the opportunity to fight for this title. He chose to take the long way around and really dug himself into a hole. Whyte, he did all this talking, all this woofing, thousands and thousands of miles away. But when you go and get the opportunity to back up your talk, you chickened out. You get the opportunity, clearly 2 great opportunities out of the 4 opportunities. 3 of them were amazing, but 2, how can you deny it? Not only did I tell you to fight Ortiz, but they, the WBC, they ordered you to fight him. You got me. You would have been mandatory. Am I right or am I wrong? What was wrong with him fighting Luis Ortiz? He's an old man, right? What's wrong with fighting Ortiz, beating the old man, and then you got me? I'm trying to understand. I'm really trying to get it, because they keep crying all the time about the WBC and Deontay Wilder. The guy is obsessed with me, bro. What is your problem? You had opportunities. I don't get it. I really don't. Warning. Asked when a potential fight with Whyte could still take place, Wilder concluded, I have no idea, but I'm gonna knock him out. That's a fact, because his style is made for my style. A lot of people say I'm wild, but he is a wild fighter. Dillian Whyte has a wild style, and I like his style because no one gets more wilder than Wilder. I like that. Bars. I pick him apart so easy. It's an easy fight, an easy knockout. But may God be with him and the UK guys, all the UK guys, and hopefully we can see that in the future. Right now, my main goal is to unify the division. Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury rematch are next on the horizon, meaning the earliest window for Whyte would be summer of 2020. Listen. Everything Deontay Wilder is saying is true. He also did an interview with 78. I haven't checked all of it out, but part of it, he said, like, what are they doing? And I said the same thing. It's funny, Deontay Wilder's new media. He's saying he's hitting y'all with the same facts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that man. But he said in the interview, he said something to the effect of, like, why are they counting the days? Like, that seems like kind of corny. Like, that's like, you just, they're literally, 572 days, 596. It's been 603 days. Like, what are you doing? Who does that? Who just, that's like when you meet a chick or whatever, and she's like, I got a son. Like, how old is the little motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? And she'd be like, he's 2,642 months old. Man, I ain't doing all this math and shit. What the fuck? Just say the motherfucker 4. Like, don't be putting it in months and shit. Like, you tripping. That's what Dillian Whyte, Eddie Hearn, to try to make it worse, to try to make people feel sorry, to try to get the UK fans involved and bamboozle the UK fans. Because what sounds worse? Oh, we've been waiting 2 years, or we've been waiting, 6,000 days, and, put it in days. Like, it's like when you playing the slot machines. If you playing the penny machine and it says you win 10,000 pennies, okay, that's 10,000, but it's in pennies. It's not like you won $10,000 on the dollar machine. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, there's a difference. There really is. And they're trying to do it for sympathy, I believe. But beyond this, Dillian Whyte should really, really focus on Oscar Rivas. I think that's a dangerous fight. I think that's a good fight. DAZN just picked it up. Focus on that. Like Dillian Whyte, he's talking about he whooped Tyson Fury and dropped him, and Wilder 600 days, and Joshua, was on testosterone, and Andy Ruiz did this. I really think he should probably focus on that, because this is some of the same ingredients that it seems like got Anthony Joshua, to overlook Andy Ruiz. Just talking about everything else, doing MTV Crib style. Oh yeah, this is my condo, I'm in Miami, all this type of stuff. As far as the Wilder fight too, man, Wilder he's 100% right. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. He's 100% right, 1,000% right. I went over this. I'm not going to keep going over it. Check my past videos. Like Jay said, niggas want my old shit. Buy my old albums. Go listen to old videos. I've already went over this. Multiple final eliminators from different sanctioning bodies to get Dillian Whyte a title shot. It's not just Wilder anyway. If we are feeling sorry for Deontay Wilder has one belt. Uno. He has one belt. Anthony Joshua, until Andy Ruiz lifted the belt from him, Anthony Joshua had 4, including the IBO belt. And he's on the same side as Dillian Whyte. And they were supposedly in negotiations, and they've already fought before in the amateurs and as a pro, before Joshua was a champion. And guess what? He didn't get that fight. So I don't feel sorry for Eddie Hearn. Don't feel sorry for Dillian Whyte. Don't feel sorry for Anthony Joshua, because they made their bed. They created this situation. Dillian Whyte could have easily gotten a title shot by listening to Wilder, listening to the WBC, listening to the IBF, Eddie Hearn offering something that would appease Dillian Whyte within reason to get the Joshua fight done. And that would have been a bigger fight. They could have kept April 13th at Wembley instead of canceling the date, switching to June 1st, bringing him to America, yada, 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 right? That was already a domestic fight. They said they had Wembley booked for months. This is what they told people from August 2018 all the way until like January. They said, oh, Wembley, I got Wembley reserved for Joshua's next 2 fights, and then they canceled the Wembley date. So what's that about? So, I don't feel sorry for it, because he could have fought Joshua. And it's funny with DAZN, particularly Eddie Hearn has been on record saying DAZN has so much money. They have the biggest annual $1 billion budget and all this stuff, and pay-per-view's dead, and Showtime will be out of business by October this year, because he said it October last year. He said Showtime is going to go in the way of HBO and in the next year, right? He said all this, but Canelo can't make Sergey Kovalev comfortable. He's offering him less money than Jacobs got. Where's all that money at? Because they haven't put on big fights like that. The biggest fight is Joshua Ruiz and Canelo. They ain't put on no other fights that are like really big like that. So where's all the $1 billion going? We know Canelo's getting 36 million. Joshua's getting whatever, something million. Triple G's getting something million. So how come DAZN has $1 billion budget per year, like Eddie Hearn was raving and bragging about the American Takeover, pay-per-view's dead, yet Kovalev feels insulted and feels it's a lowball offer because it's not anything substantial, and other guys like Gerald Miller was going to get more than him to face Joshua, and other guys like Daniel Jacobs got more to face the same fighter. And he's like, yo, wait a minute, I'm a champion. Kovalev was like, I'm a champion at 175. He's coming into my league and I'm risking it all, to fight, because what if I lose to a smaller man? I'm putting it all on the line. And you mean to tell me I get less than Jacobs got for a unification in Canelo's division? No. And then now Kovalev's fighting Anthony Yarde. Did a video about that. Check that on the channel. Same thing with Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte wanted to fight Joshua. He been said it. And they're in negotiations. And for whatever reason, they can't make the numbers match up to appease Dillian Whyte, you know, to financially to make him feel comfortable to make Joshua Dillian Whyte. You know why? Because they wanted Anthony Joshua to make an American debut against Gerald Big Baby Miller. Dillian Whyte's been on pretty much a tear. It's not like he's had the biggest names in the division, but he had fought the more credible names than Gerald Big Baby Miller. So Miller, we don't know. He's big. You know, he's a good trash talker. He pushed him. But we don't know if Miller was ready for a title shot. Dillian Whyte has showed he's ready for, you know, at least a title shot with Joshua, because he already gave Joshua a tough fight and hurt him in the first fight and beat him in the amateurs. They didn't want that. They didn't want to take that risk. And, you know, it all backfired anyway, because they didn't take the risk with an in-house fighter like Dillian Whyte, you know, fearing that he could be the one to, you know, ruin the gravy train. And then come to find out, the gravy train still got ruined, but it got ruined by Al Heyman fighter, you know, who was, you know, in obscurity, and then just now he's got 1 million followers on social media off of one night. Crazy. It's crazy how boxing works like that. But I agree with Deontay Wilder. Dillian Whyte, he had multiple opportunities to get the Wilder fight. The problem is Eddie Hearn, the way he managed him, Barry Hearn, rematch room, Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte was shopping ESPN deals. He was shopping a PBC deal. And he chose to stay loyal on a fight-by-fight basis with rematch room, and they're not delivering him the fights that he wants, period. So you know how many fighters would love to be in Dillian Whyte's position, where they have a working relationship, but they also have the flexibility and they're not contractually bound for 3-4 fights or some shit. Like Canelo, he's with DAZN for the next, you know, 8-9 fights at this point, right? Dillian Whyte's an in and out. Like that's why he was able to, when things weren't going his way, he was able to meet up with Al Heyman. You know, fighters would love that type of freedom. Mikey Garcia's in that same position, case by case basis, right? And Dillian Whyte chose to stay in the comfort zone. So I don't feel sorry. Dillian Whyte had opportunities to get a title shot from either Wilder or Joshua. Didn't listen to what the WBC said. Didn't listen to the IBF. He didn't listen to the final eliminators, and he didn't listen probably to his gut feeling and his, you know, about, hey man, I did all this work for Eddie Hearn, and I was his junkyard dog, and I was willing to fight on Sky Sports box office to help generate numbers and sales, and fight Joseph Parker, former champion, fight Lucas Brown, former champion, hurt and or knocked these guys out. I cleaned up my work with Derek Chisora, knocked him out in a good fight. The reward should have been a Joshua fight, but guess what? They lowballed him, and then the fight was never created, and Joshua ended up losing anyway. But Eddie Hearn really messed it up, because he ended up losing to somebody outside of the rematch room stable, versus even if Dillian Whyte, there's no guarantee he would have beat Joshua, because styles make fights, and he already lost to Joshua. But even if he did, it wouldn't have been as bad for a rematch room, because it would still be an in-house belt. You know, the belts would still be within the UK, so they can just say, okay, Joshua versus Dillian Whyte trilogy. You know, it's a rubber match, and then they have a big fight to take over there, and they don't have to be worrying about Joshua having panic attacks and stuff. Now they let Al Heyman, you know, send a silent killer and Andy Ruiz over and dethrone Joshua. Now they're arguing. We're going to see where the fight, once it's announced, we're going to see where it's at. But now it looks like the fight might be in the USA, because Andy Ruiz said, I'm the A side. I ain't fighting in the UK. Versus if it was Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua, the belts would still be in house, and the UK would be a clear, you know, a clear front runner for a trilogy rubber match, and it would be big business over there. They messed this up totally. So I don't really have any remorse. As far as Dillian Whyte is a good fighter, I like him. He should probably focus on Oscar Rivas. Stylistically, I don't even know if the UK and the people really believe that Dillian Whyte is the person to beat Deontay Wilder. I wouldn't favor him to beat him. I really wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Dillian Whyte he's like, you know, he's a gunslinger, like Wilder's saying. And Wilder's bigger, more athletic, can get behind his jab, more power, you know what I'm saying? So realistically, who wants to see Dillian Whyte get in the way of a Luis Ortiz fight and or a Tyson Fury fight, when Tyson Fury, You know, some people believe Tyson Fury may have beat Wilder. Some people believe Wilder knocked out Tyson Fury. Some people think it was a draw. So that's the bigger fight, bar none. Tyson Fury knows how to talk and be a showman. They already have history, etc. And the final thing is Luis Ortiz. He is the final puzzle piece. Like Wilder is saying, if Dillian Whyte really and truly wanted to fight him, he could have easily. He had Wilder's word, he had the WBC's word, and he had the opportunity to fight Luis Ortiz. See, everybody wants to talk about how old Luis Ortiz is and how he sucks and he didn't look good versus Christian Hammer. But guess what? Wilder's the only one stepping up to fight the motherfucker. I'm talking about not Christian Hammer type guys, not Malik Scott. I'm talking about guys with a lot of presence, guys with momentum and everything to lose. Wilder's the only one with the big name, belt, and shit like that, undefeated record, fighting this motherfucker. So at the end of the day, Joe Joyce said he would eventually fight him, but he didn't fight him. You know, they talked about Gerald Miller fighting Luis Ortiz, but it never manifested. You know, Dillian Whyte said he'll knock the old man out, but he never knocked the old man out. AJ called out Luis Ortiz, but he never fought him. And don't give me no 5-week, 6-week bullshit saying he really wanted to fight Joshua, wanted to fight Luis Ortiz, because at the end of the day, he couldn't even get past a much shorter Andy Ruiz with the 5-week notice. You know, you think he wanted to take on a southpaw when he was preparing for Gerald Miller? Man, the UK, they got some explaining to do. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new, consider subscribing. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.